Hey everyone, Twisters is out in theaters, and I can't help but feel like I might have seen this movie before. Oh, wait, I did. Back in 1996, when the movie Twister was originally released in theaters. But that doesn't mean that Twisters, this time plural, is bad. However, it does mean we've got a lot to talk about, some big topics, and one of those things is people keep calling this sequel. But before we get into that, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and you will make my day. Thanks so much. All right, so Twisters is the story of a young woman named Kate, played by Daisy Edgar-Jones, who has this gift for knowing how and where tornadoes are going to form, whether it's from watching the clouds in the sky or feeling just the wind or seeing how the data on her Doppler screen reads out. She suffers a tragedy in the opening scene that interrupts her pursuit of a research grant that she's going after. And she just kind of walks away from storm chasing at that point. But several years later, she gets kind of pulled back into it by an old friend, and she's soon back out there chasing storms and finding her new team at odds with another storm chaser team led by a guy named Tyler, the Tornado Wrangler, played by Glen Powell. And unlikely alliances start forming as they face off against this town killing tornado. Okay, so I keep hearing people call Twisters a sequel. And I just have to stop you right there. It is not a sequel. I think the fact that they put an S on the end of the title led people to assume it's a sequel, but it absolutely is not a sequel. Sequels are films that continue a story forward. If this were a sequel, it would have maybe picked up 30 years after the original film and would have maybe made Kate the daughter of Joe and Bill Harding, which would actually have been kind of an amazing follow-up. Plus, it would have solidified Kate's character and her almost shaman-like ability to anticipate storms. That kind of would have been nice in a sequel, but by no means was it necessary. Instead, Twisters is a remake of the original film that repurposes the same script with some changes. The themes and many of the scenes that are in there are also in the new film. So there's a lot of carryover that you're going to notice as well if you saw the original film. But they also added some really cool updates to the film, including a nod to climate change, as well as some zhuzhed up weather science, of which I honestly know nothing about. I know a lot about science, I know a lot about technology. I don't really know anything about weather, but I can tell you that they absolutely took W.C. Fields' advice, which is if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. And Twister's science completely baffles me. But I honestly didn't care because I was enjoying the film so much that I just wanted it all to work out. And when a film can get a viewer to suspend their disbelief like that, it is a sign of good writing, good directing, and good cinematic storytelling. The other high point for Twisters was the incredible sound design that just leveled up the theatrical experience. In addition to the sound of the storm, the roaring cars, and everything else that was just rumbling on the screen, it was also a film where the soundtrack really stood out in a nice way. The music was well chosen and placed at key moments in the film that just built that heart pounding soundscape that fed the on screen action. However, I gotta say, the soundtrack from the original 1996 film is still my favorite. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely check it out. It's really good with a lot of great songs, great artists, iconic. All right, so back to the film. So Twisters actually kind of repurposes the characters in such a way that the story fell more squarely on Kate as the lead in the film rather than balancing it between Kate and Tyler. However, I gotta say, Glen Powell as Tyler was the standout in this film. He stole every scene he was in. He's great in this role as kind of the lead storm chaser and YouTuber from the opposing team because he just embraces it. He is having fun with this role and with this character in a way that just feels authentic and joyful. And as a result, he makes Tyler this completely fun, smart, sensitive, and non-douchey character. And yeah, leading up to like kind of figuring out who he is, you do get this feeling like maybe he's kind of like shady. But no, he turns out to be a really good guy, which honestly, it's kind of hard to do, pulling all of those pieces of a character together and making it kind of come out at the right time on screen. He made Tyler into a complex character, which I think was a really great job on his part. And while I really liked Daisy Edgar-Jones as Kate, she did a great job. There were some moments where she just kind of fell flat on screen. And I don't know if part of that was because she was kind of, her character was reliving some of the trauma and was shutting down a little bit, which could make sense. That might have been a director's choice. I'm not really sure. Still, there was so much great chemistry between Daisy and Glen on screen that it just made up for everything. And it made for a really fun budding romance between them. The most interesting character change in the remake is the non-storm chaser character, who's this British reporter that kind of got clearance to come along with the YouTube team, with Tyler's YouTube team, to do this ride along in order to get a story. His perspective provides a fascinating view into the film because he is a smart guy who asks good questions and he gets useful answers that help to explain what's happening and why for the audience. It was honestly a brilliant character decision because his whole purpose is to ask questions in an organic way that subverts the exposition from telling to showing. And that is a genius move on the part of the writers and directors. Unless you think everything in this film review is just roses and puppies, there was one part that bordered on annoying me, even though I understood why Kate did what she did and why she decided to do it alone. I just wish that Tyler was with her in that one scene. I can see why she went off on her own, but I do think Tyler should have found a way to follow her because I think having them together in that moment would have felt more like a healing moment for her. And it would have given her friend Javi an opportunity to save someone else, which for him would have created a healing moment as well. And I kind of think that's the heart of this film, is that we all have these traumatic moments in our lives. And this is the story of some people that go up against those trauma moments and find a way through it and come out on the other side, if not better for the experience, healed by the experience. And I think that's an important lesson. So despite these little nits that stood out for me, they didn't ruin the film because Twisters did a great job of developing Kate's character to establish why she made the choices that she made, which made everything believable, made everything kind of fall in line on screen. My recommendation in a nutshell is that Twisters is fun, it's exciting, and not all that original as a remake, but man, what they make up for in excitement definitely makes this film worthwhile. And while I think they could have improved upon the story by actually creating it as a sequel to the original, rather than just remaking the movie for a new audience and repurposing the structure, ideas, and themes. Twisters, as a standalone remake, was 2 hours of thrilling entertainment that was well worth the price of the ticket, especially if you go see it in a Dolby Atmos theater, because you will feel like you are one of the storm chasers. Those theaters really do bring the sound to life. And I think most people who watch Twisters are going to enjoy it. And viewers who are new to the story will likely love it. So, Twisters, have you seen it? Did you see the original? And what did you think of this remake? Definitely drop a comment in the notes below and let me know what you thought. I would love to chat with you about this film because I've always been a big Twisters fan. I love these big dramas with like natural apocalypses and action. I just eat that kind of stuff up. So let me know what you thought. And be sure, while you're here, give this review a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos because there are more coming. Thank you guys so much. I will see you again soon. In the meantime, happy viewing, and I will see you later. Bye.